For example, today we talked about how to take what has happened as an outcome of the election and turn that into lemonade. So we know that Mr. Elon Musk, let me give you this stat that just kind of blew my mind. So we know that he is the owner of Tesla, for example. He donated $120 million roughly to the Trump campaign. The day after the election, his stock, his 411 million shares of Tesla received a bump in market value at about 13 to 15%. So that equated to 15 billion with a B.
Yeah, he made his money back and then some.
Exactly.
But without any further ado, I'm going to bring on our very first guest, Dr. Sabrina. Hello, doctor. How you doing?
Hello, Dr. Lawson. I am so excited to be in the house tonight.
I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. And we actually met not in Houston. You interviewed me before when we were preparing for the National Black Book Festival.
Oh, boom. Yes, I remember now. Yeah, you're right. But you were in Houston, though.
I was in Houston.
I remember I interviewed you on Black Authors Matter TV.
Right, you did.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. So, without any further ado, why don't you tell everybody who is Dr. Sabrina Williams?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dr. Lawson. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, author and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited to be here with you and your guests, your audience here at Horizon Author Lounge.
Oh, come on. I love that. You know, you had that all together. This is what you do. I can tell already.
This is what I do. I host a radio program on Mondays here locally in I'm in the Jackson, Mississippi metro area. And I host, my show is SEW Talks Money and More on Monday mornings. And so I get to practice my little opening every Monday. And sometimes on other days is as I need it at the radio station.
Love it. Love it. So I don't know, little known fact, I was actually born in Mississippi. A lot of people think I was born in New Orleans, but I was born in Mississippi.
Where?
I was born at Keesler Air Force Base in
down on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah,
Gulf Coast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so you're a homegirl.
I'm a native Mississippian, somewhat. I wasn't born in Mississippi, so I've been here a good part of my life. I grew up here in a small town called Prentiss, Mississippi. And as they say, big things come from small towns. I tell you, I am so proud of my hometown, even though it's a very, very small town. One stoplight, I think we still have that stoplight. But anyway, we've had some people to come from that town that have done wonders. I don't know if are you a basketball fan by any chance? Professional? Okay, so you may have heard of a guy by the name of Big Al Jefferson. I don't know if Al is still in the league, but he was a few years ago.
Okay.
He holds the distinction of being from Prentiss, Mississippi. So we are very proud of Al, and we have bank presidents that hail from Prentiss, Mississippi. We have other authors. I actually interviewed an author on my show just last Monday. That has just debuted his book that debuted as a #1 bestseller on Amazon. So we're so proud of that young man. And as I say, big things come from small towns. Don't underrate us. Yes, don't underrate us.
So now, the people who come on your show, are they all from Mississippi, or do you kind of expand?
So here's the thing. I have to share this, Dr. Lawson, because I want to encourage someone else and speak life into others. So I have officially just launched my program about 3 weeks ago. However, I have been on air probably about 2.5 to 3 months. And it happened kind of by accident, I'll say. And this is what I mean by that. I asked someone to purchase my book. You know, as an author, we're so excited when we write books. And we want everybody to read our book. So I was coming from the gym one day and I asked this guy to buy my book. Hey, I'm a new author, support me. And he says to me, no, I think I know everything that's in that book. I said, well, how can you? You don't even know the title of the book. You don't know what it's about. How can you know everything that's in the book? And so when I went on to just kind of give him an overview, he says, oh, I know all that. They talk about that on the radio. And I'm like, oh, really? Where? And so he told me, and he said, you need to go talk to those people at the radio station. And, you know, a lot of times, especially for new authors, and I wanted to share this story because I received a no for the request that I made. However, he really blessed me by saying no because he opened a door for me. I would have never thought of going to the radio station. So I did that same day. I said, God, if this man had the audacity, Dr. Lawson, he had the audacity to tell me no.
And you could have had an attitude and you could have turned your whole mind and everything off to him.
Right. But I didn't.
Out on the blessing.
I didn't. And that same day, I went to ask for the two people that he suggested, and both of them were in a meeting. So the very next day, I did get to speak with one of the gentlemen by phone. And by Friday, I was on air. So I was a guest on other people's show for about 2 months before I actually had an opportunity to get my own show. And so you just never know. I want to encourage other authors that are starting out. You never know. Don't take the no's personal because that no could lead to something even greater.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful story. And I'm very glad you shared that because often as authors, you know, we get so focused on making sure that we get the sale. We got to sell these books. If I'm going to travel over here, I better sell all these books because I have to make it worth it. And sometimes we forget that we can make money on the back end. Or even if we don't make money at that moment, we forget that maybe we can make valuable connections. I never want to miss out on making a valuable connection. From myself, as an example, back in August, I was supposed to, well, I did do the book signing. I was invited to do a book signing here in the DMV, and I ordered my books. My books did not come on time.
Oh, wow.
So I could have said, well, I guess I'm not going. I don't have anything to sell. Because I didn't. I had no books to sell. But I went to that book signing anyway. And because I had flyers, and because I had my personality. And what I was able to do is I made so many connections that day. And I added people to my email list that day because I said, okay, if I don't have books, I'm going to take email addresses and I'm going to give away a gift basket. And so I made the most out of that. And the owner of the store said, I just want to give you credit because you came here with no books. And you have been having a time of your life because she saw me laughing. I was filming content and I had a great time. And I met, like I said, I met some great people. And I think just like you said, if we take that no and we say, okay, that's it, and then try to move on to the next thing, we may miss out on a blessing that we didn't even realize was there.
And I think I would have. And this is the thing about radio, television, media. You never know who's on the other side listening to you. So just a few weeks after I started on the radio, I attended the Mississippi Book Festival here in Jackson. I had people to come to my booth to buy my book because they heard me on the radio. So you never know. Like I didn't miss anything. I didn't lose anything because I did not make that sale, because I gained so much more. And I now have a platform that I would not have had, Dr. Lawson, had I not received that no. I'm convinced that I would not have had it. So
That's
sometimes, you
awesome.
have to take those lemons in life and just make lemonade out of them.
Amen to that. So now tell me about the show. Who do you interview on the show?
So my vision for my show, Dr. Lawson, because I am an author and an investor, I spend time talking about my subject matter, which is, of course, business. So I'm talking money and more. That's the name of the show. So Talks Money and More. So we do a couple of episodes of the show where we're focused on money matters.
Do they call you Dr. So?
They don't look. I don't care what they call me, Dr. Lawson, as long as they call me.
Feel like that's a thing right now.
Just call me.
I'm talking with Dr. Sabrina Williams, and she is an author. She's an entrepreneur. She is a radio show host. She's doing so many things, and she's an investor. And so, what exactly do you invest in?
So my area of expertise is real estate. I began real estate investing about 29 years ago. And I know I don't look too much older than
you. Don't. You really don't.
But I was introduced to real estate investing by a relative of mine. And I want to share this story because I don't know who's listening and somebody needs this blessing. When I was 25 years old, I graduated from, no, I'm sorry. Let me go back. I was 29 years old. I had an opportunity to get a home. And it was one of those situations where we had enough money to afford the house, but we did not have the money that we needed to do the rehab on the house. Okay. And if you know anything about banking, banks don't lend to projects. They don't do that. They lend based on a completed house, something that has some equity in it. That's what they want to see. They don't want to know about your project. So you have to have some type of intermediate funding to get you to where you're trying to go. And so I couldn't get it from the bank. I ended up reaching out to a relative who introduced me to the concept of private money investing. So we were able to borrow what we needed to finish the house, put it together, and move on from there. And that just kind of sparked my interest in, if I could do this for something I can live in, maybe I can rinse and repeat. So I've been an active real estate investor for almost 30 years now.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Mississippi is a great spot for it. I used to know a contractor who lived in Mississippi, and he liked to buy maybe blighted houses too, but the less pretty houses.
Right.
And because they were cheaper to buy, and he would just fix them up.
Right.
And sometimes he would rent them out, sometimes he'd move into them.
So, and here's the thing, along this journey, we have, my husband and I have been very blessed to be able to provide housing to so many families. And that it's just our honor, to whom much is given, much is required. And to be able at this point in our life, primarily to focus on our elders. We have a lot of tenants now that are elderly people. And, with all the things that have changed and have happened in the world of rentals with, and this has been since COVID, a lot of these people that look just like you and I, Dr. Lawson, really don't have the financial resources to be able to afford some of the higher rents. And so just to be blessed by God, to be in a situation where we can provide housing to people that are truly in need, it's an honor, and we don't take that lightly. We don't. That's a responsibility that we know has been entrusted to us.